group. This is the hermit, of course, the introspective, but also that which is the knower of the entrance to the sacred ways. And the hanged man, having to do with this relationship of the imagination. And this is what, of course, this relationship of being suspended upside down, that our true nature sees not things upside down, but actually as they are. The world is upside down. And when we sort of get a sense of humor, a little mirth, going, well, it's topsy-turvy, we start to trust the fact that we're not needing to see ourselves and our ideals in that topsy-turviness, but to allow this deeper imaginative resource to say, you see, in this inner heart, this inner sanctum, this place where you dwell, you are this ancient quality of being that is still connected to this remarkable journey. And you are composed of these very, very conditions. And as you can see, I'm not going through all of them in depth because I want to get more of an energetic sense of the tower, this quality of Mars, of the masculine need to will, to inseminate. And this is something we experience in ourselves when we get that sense of absolute ferocity and absolute will, where there is no off button, because this is really coming to deal with, and this is part of coming to deal with the very engines of creation, meaning that as this naked male figure is holding the lightning bolt, he is realizing that he is actually the outcome of this great tree, this nerve ganglia that has emerged across the ages. But notice that the serpent here could swallow him at any moment, but he keeps the jaws open because he has learned to allow this eye, this greater eye of wisdom, to keep his center. And this is where we start to understand that this human struggle of ours is in making sense of these dynamic energies that we think are our energies. But in this deeper sense, we are composed of these energies. They're not ours. We, like a resonance factor, like a musical score, are how these energies emanate through us. We personalize these energies, and they're not personal. As a matter of fact, the tower, when I talk in my book about it, the paragraph that still rather terrifies me is that this is the power that creates, forms, and destroys universes. It's not a personal energy. As a matter of fact, I experienced when my father died a remarkable experience of his energy moving through my hand, and I realized at that point there was nothing gentle about it. That we are composed of such energy and force that we do not die because we become dissipated and old. Really, this time-space coordinate bodysuit that we've created, the greatest technology in the whole universe, composed of infinite suns, as this starts to lose its capacity to hold the crosshairs of a very dynamic reality, our greater vitality actually reabsorbs us. So we don't disappear. We can no longer hold this focus. These bodies are remarkable energy containers. And this, again, has to do with the divine masculine, because these bodies have been being filtered, honed, and adjusted. Meaning that if you have a clarity in one age with one set of conditions, let's say we're Maya, we're going to understand the riddle of our humanity in one particular constraint. If we're then in another time, another place, we're going to understand our relationship differently there. And that's where we start to see that we had to go through all of these stages to hold this knowing of the sun. Because the sun will show us that we are bound to the cross of time, but we are opening our mind to the nourishment of the inner sun. And here we see once again the relationship of the chalice, that through embrace, through opening, the sun, and this is the third illumination. The sun illumination is that we are both standing in the world of time, and we are able then to embrace the numinosity of that which is of the eternal or of the divine, because we are composed of it. But like a great sun, it creates that which falls as a sap into our imaginative brain so that it doesn't destroy us. It's almost like homeopathy. It drops into us just a little tincture, a little suggestion, and if it doesn't freak us out too much, we start to grow a little bit every time, until finally we hold this proposition, well, maybe I can hold a duality of vision. Maybe I can see the world and understand that I'm created by it, but on the other hand, maybe I can hold this other sense that this greater quality of consciousness allowed me to emerge this way. And when we know this, then we really do become the fool. We see this journey, we walk on the clouds, and we finally understand, as I talked about the horizontal wheel, that the horizontal wheel is that which holds the blossom. When we blossom, we are no longer afraid, because the rainbow of infinite possibility pours forth from the chalice of wisdom, and we see that as with Aquarius, as with the lightning, our Uranus, we are created by the sudden and unexpected spontaneity of creation. We are not expected, we are spontaneous, and that makes us dynamic. When this happens, then we really do rise as this I, and we allow ourselves to experience a sense of dynamic inner truth that isn't the sun of the outer world, but the sun of the inner world. And this is what was meant in ancient tradition, because when it's talking about the sun, and I've talked about the relationship of my Phoenix Arise painting before, but this starts to tell us that we are in a process of blossoming, and that we are now moving into a perception that our geometries are what allow us to recognize a unique quality, a unique condition, like a unique octave or perception, and that the fool in us is appreciating that we've journeyed through the knowledge of love, the knowledge of separation, and that we are still within this cross of matter and the conditioning of enormous force. But it's teaching us this, again, this axis point, to stand erect and to be able to move dynamically rather than to have to sigh.